Hello and welcome back once again to Movie Reviews. Just got out of seeing Planes, Fire and Rescue. Not really sure what to make out of this one. Gotta remember it is a kids movie, so I'm gonna try and judge it fairly, not just be like, oh, it's a kids movie, because I like kids movies. Most of them. Not to say I didn't like this, it just, there's a lot of rehashing of the first one, which I guess it's a kids movie. They got something that works, might as well stick with it, right? So Dusty, the plane from the first one, he's still the big race plane, whatever. He's winning all these races, getting overly confident. And at first it seemed like they were reusing footage from the first movie, like when he's doing his training thing. If you've seen the first one where he's like flying in between the grain silos, they're doing that whole thing again, and then basically Dusty has a heart attack, more or less. His gearbox is starting to wear out, and they can't find a replacement for it. So they're like, well, if you keep pushing yourself to the levels that you push yourself in the race, your gearbox is going to give out, you're going to crash, and that's it. We can't do anything. So he's going up to fly, and his warning light comes on, and he panics and crashes into the tower at the airstrip, which causes a fire. So the fire truck at the airfield comes out, and he's trying to put out the fire, and he runs out of water, and basically they have to topple over the water tower to get it to put the fire out. So of course an inspection crew comes in, you're not up to code, and you need to get up to code, otherwise we're shutting this place down. And they got this big festival coming up, so they can't be shut down, because that's, the bread and butter for the rest of the year for the town. So basically it says that they need to get a second fire engine on board. They don't know where they're going to find one, and then Dusty sees a picture of the old fire engine with a crop duster, or basically one that's been retrofitted to drop water over fire. So he goes, well, why don't I become the second one? I can go and get training, get certified, and, if all else fails, if my racing career is over, I can at least be the firefighter. So he goes and tries to become a firefighter, and they put him basically through a bunch of training courses there. At first he's doing okay, and then he gets to a point where they're like, you got to push yourself, to make this vertical climb, and he's like, he doesn't tell him that he can't, he just backs off and kind of panics about it. Instead of explaining early, hey, I got this problem where I can't do this. So basically it makes the head trainer guy, just like in Cars and the first Planes, the trainer's always kind of against him a little bit at first. And it's because he won't push himself the way he wants him to, and rather than just explain, hey, I got a bum ticker, I can't do it, and we can't find a replacement. So basically he kind of puts the whole team in danger as they're fighting forest fires, because that's where he's training at, is in a national park. And he basically almost puts everyone in danger, because he's too scared to just admit that he's got a problem, and he's kind of lost his confidence. So of course by the end of the movie, spoiler, he regains his confidence, he fights the fire, pushes himself, and guess what? His gearbox blows out. Yeah, you knew that was coming, right? So then it comes down to, they rebuild him, and he's like, well, what about my gearbox? We couldn't find a replacement. And this other mechanic, doctor, whatever you want to call him, says, it's the hardest thing that I've ever done, but I built you a brand new custom one. And the earlier doctor that's back from his neighbor, from where he was from, they had asked, can you build something custom? And she goes, no, it has to be stock. And that was the problem, was it was out of production, so they couldn't find a stock one anywhere. But now this other guy, I guess they're just saying that he was a better doctor than her, because he was able to build a custom one that worked. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, that was kind of the main downfall of the movie. not to say it was bad. The beginning kind of drug on because it was a lot of rehashing of the same stuff from the first one. But as it went on and he started to get his confidence back, the movie picked up a little bit. It was a lot more action going on and kind of kept you interested a little bit. You know, at the end you're kind of like, come on, Dusty, you can do it, even though it's a kid's movie. You know he's going to do it. So, yeah, the only other bad thing about it is, you know, the car and plane jokes are always going to exist in Cars movies, and it just seems like they've scraped the bottom of the barrel, like they're reaching really hard to get jokes that are funny, and it's like they're trying too hard because they're just not funny. A lot of the puns are just like, really, you had to stretch it that far to make that pun. So yeah, that kind of drags it down a bit too, but if you can get past the first half of it and get into the end where he's getting his confidence back and doing his job, yeah, overall not horrible. So as far as a star rating, I don't want to rate it too low because it wasn't a bad movie for a kid's movie, but at the same time, the rehashing was just kind of eh. I don't want to make just another week of fucking threes, but yeah, I mean, I don't want to be discourteous to it by rating it a 2.5 because it was decent for what it was, despite the problems that would normally drag it down to a 2.5. But if you like the first one, you'll probably like this one, at least the second half of this one. So we'll say 3, middle of the road. I think I gave the last one a 3 a couple years ago now. I don't remember, but it's on par with the first one. Rehashes a lot of the first one, and then is just as good as the first one. So yeah, that's Planes, Fire and Rescue. That's the end of the movie reviews for this week. So I'm gonna go. I'm trying to think if I want to go home and get dinner, or if I want to go home, or if I want to go get Subway and then go home. I think I might do Subway. Subway sounds good. So yeah, that's it for this week. There might not be any movie reviews next week because I don't think there's anything new coming out that I want to see. Ninja Turtles is 2 weeks away. So yeah, might be a dead week next week, but I'll find something to put up. Maybe some more gameplays, even though they're the lowest rated thing on this site. But yeah, so that's it for this week. As always, thanks for watching. And until next time, we'll see you on the next episode of Movie Reviews.